welcome back to my channel. Today I am reviewing the new Hourglass Surreal Light Palette. I was so excited to get this. If you are familiar with my channel at all, you know that me and Hourglass, we get along. I love Hourglass. It's one of my favorite brands. Holy crap, it's thundering outside. Let's hope my power doesn't go out because that tends to happen. Anyway, back to the palette. I was so excited to get this. I love Hourglass, and I use them every single day. No joke, every single day. So I got this, opened it up, and the packaging is to die for. So it is a kind of matte finish, and it looks like white marble. Who doesn't like that? Like, girl, please. So the thing that I was the most excited for was definitely the bronzer in here, and it's actually the thing that ended up disappointing me the most. But before we get into that, I am going to talk about the amount of product that you get in here versus the amount of product that you get in these singles. So this whole thing, each of the blushes and the bronzer is 0.04 ounces, and then the larger ambient lighting powder is 0.14 ounces. Now, a blush in the regular packaging is 0.15 ounces, and then the ambient lighting powder is 0.35, and then the bronzer is actually 0.39 ounces. So you can see the palette sizes. You're not really getting bang for your buck, which is kind of weird because with holiday palettes, typically you end up with a lot more product with less money to spend, but that's definitely not the case with Hourglass. Now, that did not deter me. I love Hourglass, so I was definitely determined to get my hands on this no matter the price. I mean, obviously there's a line that we would not cross, but I really wanted this palette. So I was most excited about the bronzer in here, and I will say that it is very, very light. When I'm going to put up swatches, I'm going to put them in natural light so you guys can see, but there's not a lot of pigmentation to this at all. And on my skin tone, it turned pink. So I used my number 6 brush from Tom Ford, and you can see like this kind of like, you kind of have to dab in there, and then the 129, this is a little easier to get the blushes, but it was pink, and my makeup was literally ruined for the rest of the day. Like, I looked crazy, and I tried to take another bronzer and go over it. I just looked like a hot mess, but I then used it for a blush, and it's very light, so it works if you want something natural, but I was really excited about the bronzer, so that was a very big ugh for me. Now, the blushes in this palette, both of these are pretty fair as well. The pinker one is a little bit darker, but mainly if you are not a fair, light to medium skin tone, this isn't going to work for you. And I'm just going to be honest, the bronzer surely is not going to work for you. But then this highlight, oddly enough, is a little dark on me. It's kind of strange. It doesn't look like it would be when it's swatched, but when it's on my skin, it's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. Like, it really is gorgeous, but it would look better on somebody that's a little deeper than me because it just doesn't look like a highlight. It looks like almost dull right here on me. So I can't use that. And the ambient lighting, no, the strobing powders are my favorite. I actually have Brilliant Light on right now. So I've talked about the 2 blushes, and I've talked about the really light pink bronzer and then the strobing powder. Now, this guy right here is an ambient lighting powder, and I typically use diffused light every single day to set my under eyes. And I'm going to show you the color difference in these. So if you can see, this is diffused light, and this is what I use every single day for my under eye, and this one is the Surreal lighting powder. Obviously, this one's a lot lighter than this one. So the only way that I can actually get this powder to work for me is by taking it and buffing it like a finishing powder, which technically that is what they are made for. The problem with that for me is that I like my La Mer powder or my Sicily powder or my Lancome Absolute powder better for that. So I'm never going to reach for that to do that with. So this palette was actually a huge bust for me. It was very sad too because I was extremely excited about this. I want to say though that the powders in of themselves are good quality. They still feel like the Hourglass powders. They work like the Hourglass powders, but I feel like other than the highlight shade, and I mean the finishing powder would work too, but I just don't really like it. This is more geared toward very fair people, light people. I don't think I'm super dark or anything, and this palette just doesn't work for me. The blushes do work for me, but I have blushes to use. I was the most excited about everything else. So for me, this is a pass. I personally would not recommend spending your money on this unless you are fair or just absolutely hardcore, always buy the Hourglass palettes, yada yada. But personally, I'm not gonna get use out of this, so yeah. Anywho, let me know if you guys pick this up and what you think about it. I'm very sad to say that I'm not impressed because this is the palette that I was the most excited for the holiday, but oh well. Anywho, let me know what you guys think and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.